Ask that again because I had to hit the pause button.
Okay. Yeah, that was important. So, would you recommend this class to girls at your school to take next year or in the summer?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what are the things you like best?
I like what Abby said, that you can do the work on your own time.
Okay.
And you have a week, like you would assign the homeworks the week before, or they would already be on the syllabus anyway, but we would learn the concept the week before, and then we could work on it throughout the week when we had time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is this much different than how you do it in your regular classes? I mean, so you don't have a syllabus. Okay, so this is how typically college classes are run, where, now I probably put everything you see is online. I mean, I do that anyway, whether you take it. But this is typically, you have to follow your own schedule, and, you know, you have to see what the dates are. But did this help you prepare you for when you go to college and see a syllabus? And
Definitely,
Yes.
because the environment is so much different than a high school classroom. So even though it's online, just being able to see how it works and start getting accustomed to it.
It's a nice like transition because we're kind of in between like high
Right.
school and college right now, so we got like kind of the mix. So it's a nice like phase in between, so we don't go straight to college and be like, what is this?
Okay, so you know right off the bat that nobody's going to tell you to read this tonight. You're going to have to look at this. You learn just that, so it helps with that transition aspect. I think that's good, and that's probably something that I haven't thought about as much. I mean, I was mostly thinking about giving girls options for computer science, but there's a very good aspect to preparing girls for this is a true college class. I mean, I had 60 students who did exactly what you all did, but just came to class, and they had the same dates. I didn't even really change your dates much. In the previous semester, I had changed some of the dates because we had more video issues, and the girls didn't get to see this stuff. I mean, they almost stuck with the same deadlines that, I don't think we changed any of the dates.
The only thing was the tests.
The
just to
tests
work
were a little
around
bit
our
on that. Now,
schedule.
okay, so let's talk about that. So I added the proctored test because I want this to be, you know, everybody know that this is a quality program. We're not just letting girls, you know, randomly take stuff. Because when you're online, I mean, I haven't even met you all till today. I mean, some of your father could be taking the test. You know what I'm saying? And there's aspects like that. So what did you think of the test/quiz thing? How did that all work for you? You had some, let me just say, they had some tests that were proctored. Tests and exams were proctored by the faculty advisor. And then they took quizzes on their own time, pretty much. And what did you think the differences between those two things were?
I mean, both ways were definitely helpful because for the quizzes, it wasn't as large and not as much information, and it was nice that I could take it on Sunday when I didn't have as much work to do. As the test, I had to make sure, like, oh, like, I need to study around, like, biology and all this, so it was kind of nicer that I had that time to, like, prepare myself and, like, free my schedule for, like, the quizzes. But also, for the test, I do like how, like, I was like, all right, you have to sit down, do the test, like, here you go, handwritten.
It's a trade-off.
I kind of liked the quizzes just because I could type the answers.
Yeah.
That
That's
seems
also
kind of
true.
silly, but
I know, right?
yeah.
Well, we could do that for the test, too, really. Just, you have the ability to turn off internet and things like that. Yeah, so, you know,
I mean, by flipping your switch, I can, yeah.
that's just the main thing. I wanted them to be able to do it without resources. I mean, they have a cheat sheet. So what, do you like using a cheat sheet? Is that helpful for you or not helpful? Do you use it or not use it?
I mean, really, I used a cheat sheet. That was like my study guide. Like going through the PowerPoints, I would write down like things that I may need, but I really only used it for like the binary to like hexadecimal.
I always tell them, by the time you write it, you won't need it anymore. Right? You know, that's the goal. In my classes, I use it because it reduces cheating a little bit. And I don't like people to panic about mixing up two things. I want them to get the concepts. So I've always done that, you know, a cheat sheet. And I think not all teachers do that, but again, I think it has that advantage of that. So what were some of the things that could improve in the class? Is there something we could, well, let's talk about the social networking. Did you like the Facebook aspect? You all didn't use it too much, but
I mean, it was a nice way for you to communicate with us when the quizzes and tests were.
because I have three
Because
different
I
emails
always
where-
check my Facebook, so like,
Okay, so
if
you
I
all
got the
see-
notification, like I would know.
I'm glad I had you two because I don't go on Facebook at all.
Okay.
So that's part of the reason why I didn't really post to the group as much, but having other people in the group that were keeping up to date with that helped.
See, with the previous semester, we had a lot of more interaction. I think it might be my fault. We had a lot of the girls actually helping each other from other schools on Facebook, you know, and we didn't have that as much of that this time. Maybe because you all had each other, so you didn't need to use other
You posted, because Summer, you posted a question
questions.
early on about a homework
The
assignment
only
or
thing is, I would
question.
prefer email like to the teacher directly
Mm-hmm.
over like Facebook.
But now you understand it's closed. So in other words, there's no other. It was just you
Yeah,
girls.
I know.
I mean,
It's
so-
just like that's the way I've always done it for high school. Like you just email the teacher if you have a question, so it's kind of more natural.
okay. Yeah. So just the problem with that in college is that I get the same question 10 times.
All right, well, why don't you do Blackboard, you can do a wiki. Or why don't you have like a FAQ wiki or a question wiki?
Because nobody uses Blackboard in college. They only use
They
it
don't.
when they have to get on the, So
It's funny.
I mean, it's just that they're on Facebook all the time. I mean, they just don't go unless you set up notifications. We just have. I mean, they use Blackboard for their assignments, but strictly as that. Anytime we've tried to do any type of, conversations or force, unless I start grading them on their input, I'm not going to get any. It's just maybe you all use it among all your classes more, and so the girls are.
Seniors, not so much, because when they came first, it was the very first year of implementation. So I would say your freshman year, teachers were trying to even figure it out. Sophomore year, this is a year, and even the end of last year, where the teachers are trying more of the tools and functionality in Blackboard.
I mean, the advantage is, first of all, I have a second issue is that all the girls are on different things. So you may be on a Blackboard for Notre Dame and another Blackboard for Towson, and so
Well, right, exactly.
That's- and
You're
I
not
might have
logging into your Towson
you're not logging into your Towson
every day
Blackboard.
like you are
Yeah.
at
So-
Notre Dame.
What's that?
I did.
You did,
You did
every
log
day?
into Towson Blackboard
Yeah.
every day? Well, you're better than the Towson students because, I mean, so anyway, I mean, what could I do? I feel like some type of, it's a crucial piece. And one of the things that I thought of, and I don't know if this would help you, is having, and I even thought about including you all, would be some mentors who had already taken the class before. What if they took part in the Facebook group or, social networking?
that would help. Because it's like kind of asking like another high school student. You're always like not sure it's the most reliable source of information almost.
Okay.
Because
Well,
like
I think I could have encouraged it more. If we had started off with like doing more. I'm one of the few teachers at Towson who actually uses social networking in my classes, and the more I use it, the more they use it. And the one reason I like it in the classes there is because they don't. I mean, when you go to a class in a college, you don't have a roster of the other students, so you might be sitting next to somebody all next semester. You don't really have their contact unless you've talked to them. So when they get on the network, they can start to communicate and set up their study groups, and so that's one way they can set up their study groups. Otherwise, they don't know who's in the class. Do you know what I mean? You all know everything.
that's so weird to think about.
Yeah.
Because like that's never like a problem for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so for them, that way they write off, it's so natural for them to take each other's, to get their other screen, or whatever they're going to text, whereas they might not have that option otherwise. So that was one of the advantages, which you probably didn't see because you already know each other, although with the other girls. So I don't know, I still think we could use that more, but again, the problem is also that some people like Facebook, some people don't like Facebook, and I don't know. And there's no other one that everybody uses. Like, I thought Google Plus might take off, and that didn't. So, Twitter's not long enough. There's not enough information on there. So Facebook really does most of what we want to do. So anyway, we'll continue to explore those options. Would you all, so the summer, would you all be willing to, if I did set up a social networking group, it would probably be so little work to serve as a mentor type thing, and maybe just sign on to the group and ask questions, answer questions in the summer. So, I'll see about that. I mean, again, there's no sense in just saying that unless it actually, because I had a student mentor in the past and nobody used him too much.
Well, when you say the summer and the partnerships and the separate people doing it individually, you can only accept 6 people? Is that what you said?
No, 12 total.
12. So I would want 2, like a minimum of 2.
You would want a group
Because I know the girls would,
doing so much together.
they would end up doing a lot themselves together.
Yeah. Right. Now, how about how helpful was your faculty mentor? What was her role? And explain why we need that, because I have money for the faculty mentor. I mean, in other words, can you just describe the role of what she did with the tests and the ranging meetings and all that kind of stuff?
Every Thursday we would meet in the tech office, which
Okay.
is right down the hall, and we would work on whatever we had to do for that week, or we would talk about the videos or go over concepts. And I know with Ms. Walsh we talked about our project and what medium we were going to use and how we were going to present it to you and all of that kind of stuff. And we would talk to her about what we're learning about and she would proctor all of our tests and exams.
Can I add that